And before I ask you to speak, Barbara, I'd just like to just go around the group and just say your name. Those that want to talk on camera, please do. I would also like you to just state your intention, and I'm going to start. So my name is Alexis Constantinou. I am the creator of Sacred Segments, a group which started a long time ago under a different name, but we brought it online as a platform to allow healing to occur, people to share their ideas on metaphysics and the law of attraction, and just joining people together. And my intention this evening is to stop saying sentences. That's my intention, because I noticed that I do it a lot. Anette, what's your intention?
My intention is to bring all of our manifestations to life.
Love that. Okay, Paul.
Oh, my intention. I think my intention is the same as probably most weeks. So kind of bring a different, grounded, darker perspective to our spiritual lives.
Thank you. Anna?
My intention is to help hold sacred space for all of us.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Anna. Barbara?
Hang on a second, I've just lost you. There you go. My intention, focus is to stay in my heart space.
Thank you. Carl?
My intention for today is to let go more than before.
Thank you.
Let go as much as more. Yes, just let go, let go, let go, let go.
Wow. Tracey?
I love that, Carl. Because of course we're heading into a new paradigm, new structures, architecture of spirituality, and what we're being called to on the planet. So yeah, it's all about totally letting go and really challenging our existing beliefs and attachment.
What's your intention?
Sovereignty.
Thank you. Amelia?
I'm having a problem with my connection. I'm just wondering if it's just me.
Yeah, you're a little bit in and out there. We'll send thoughts to stabilize your connection, and ask the angels of internet connections to intervene.
Yes, my intention is to totally be aligned with my path.
Wonderful, thank you. Nice to meet you.
You too, Alexis, and everyone.
Syra, your intention. Hello, Syra.
Hello, how are you? Oh, video. I was trying to set up this lighting. My intention is to set up this lighting. Hang on, can you see? Is that a bit better?
Yeah.
My intention. Oh gosh, I haven't really grounded myself. Intention to live for my highest good.
That's a good one. Love that. Hello, thank you, Syra. Hello, Muriel, with your purple. Nice to see you. What's your intention?
Are you talking to me?
I'm talking to you, my dear.
I'm sorry, I just came in late. Your link was not opening. My intention is to serve as many people as I can and planting a seed so they can live better lives.
Gorgeous. Thank you. So Barbara, so amazing to have you here, as with everybody. So Barbara's going to be our main guest next week, and this is her first time on Sacred Segments. I know some of you haven't been on Sacred Segments before. Please tell us about yourself.
Well, to put it briefly, I've been on the sort of the path of sort of spiritual development, self-development, well-being for many years. And most of the things I work with because they've been significant in my own life. In fact, all the things I work with because they've been significant in my own personal healing. And it's lovely to see Anette here because she's also been significant in my personal healing, because we go back to my days in my, well, you started off the Mind, Body, Spirit with Francesca, and that gave us all great opportunity, years back. And so yeah, I run trainings, and I do mentoring. I still give presentations. I love communicating with people. I think we're all on the path, and the clearer we can be in our communication, and the more we can be authentically communicating from our heart, then it makes everybody's path, there's just so much more clarity, and it gets rid of so much junk that's out there. So I tend to kind of cook to the quick somewhat in my conversations these days. But anyway, that's who I am. That's what I do. And I work with the Monroe Institute and Heart Math and a number of other institutes I've been involved with over the years. And I'm still very much so. Onwards and upwards. You're muted.
Thank you. I only came across the Monroe Institute when Francesca, Anetta and Francesca founded the Mind, Body, Soul, I think it is. So
no, the Monroe Institute, that was a separate journey again. But Francesca and Anetta were running the Mind, Body, Spirit events, yes, which were twice a year. A lot of hard work for you both. And they brought a lot of people together who were involved in well-being, spiritual development, and gave people like myself an opportunity to talk, to present, as well as, have tables to offer people all sorts of things that they can play with, enjoy.
So is it right, am I understanding that the Monroe Institute teaches both meditation and astral projection? Is that correct?
The Monroe Institute is, Bob Monroe created the Monroe Institute because he had spontaneous out-of-body experiences, which scared the EBGBs out of him. So as a result of that, he and the research he did on himself, he created the Monroe Institute, and the Monroe Institute has gone on. I mean, Bob died quite a number of years ago now, but the Monroe Institute has gone on. They created HemiSync, which is the binaural beat concept, 40 years ago, so that's been around for a long time. They're now evolving and working with what they call sound science, which is a much more upmarket tech version of HemiSync. I still use HemiSync, I use sound science. I love them both. They're slightly different, but the objective of both is the same. So, but yeah, we do 1-day programs, we do 2-day programs. The Monroe Institute, we do the 5.5-day programs. I'm just in my training process to be a Monroe residential trainer to do the 5.5-day programs. So yeah, it's helped me hugely. I mean, I had a near-death experience in 1999, and I was Claire everything for a good year. I thought I was going absolutely potty, and yeah, my first visit to the Monroe Institute was in 2001, and it was just like a deep exhale and feeling I'd gone home. So that was, I went to Virginia. That was where I had my first experience. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I've been hooked ever since.
Yeah, so much to discover all the time. And thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
I'd like to welcome Dominique. Hello, and thanks for being here.
Hi guys. Sorry for being late.
No, you're good. So in a few minutes, we'll come to Dominique, but you didn't get the opportunity to share your intention. We heard from all of the group. My intention is to stop saying and I've said it quite a few times. Excuse me. Would you like to share what your intention is today?
You mean me?
Yes.
My intention for today, to get a good night's sleep.
I know you had a really busy day. You told me a little bit about it.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Just a lot of practicals, you know.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And what country are you in?
I'm in Portugal.
Portugal. Okay. For some reason, I thought you were in Greece. Portugal. Sounds lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely to see you. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Okay. So I'd just like for us all to take a breath, and with your hands on your knees, with your fingers outstretched, and just let that breath go all the way down to the very bottom of your spine, all the way into your root chakra, and feel the earth beneath your feet. Just recognize her and acknowledge her, the living being and goddess that she is. And from above your head, contact a white light and just bring that beam of white light down all around you, encompassing not only your aura, not only this group, but the whole of creation. Just allow your imagination to stretch that far. And know that that exists within you, within us all. And just acknowledging that spark within yourself and bringing down that white light, filling your body and all of your consciousness with this energy. And thinking down again to the Mother Earth, recognizing her divinity and her living, breathing sacredness. Asking for her violet flame of transmutation and protection. And visualize this coming up through the body and the aura as high as you can imagine into space. Also extending this protection and this transmutation to this group, to the world, and again to the whole of creation. Seeing all the lower frequencies transmute. And just once again, breathing. Deep breath. Exhale. And just coming back to the group. Dominique, I'm going to ask you to share that. And I said,
to share personal share or share about the gateways?
To share about the crystal gateways.
The
Yeah.
crystalline gateways. Okay, so I basically I identify as an alchemist, which is just a name for an energy worker. And I am kind of like a computer repairman, you know, like the guy at the Genius Bar at the Apple shop, in that the way I picture our energy is very mechanical. Whereas I have friends who are much more maybe magical and visual. So they see colors or they see gods and stuff. And I just see repair work and, okay, something's been damaged and so on. So I have all these different teams that will drop in, and then they reveal to me what their technology is. And the latest team are called the New Light Emissaries, and they are Pleiadian, and they work with consciousness and the mental sphere. And my sense from them, although we're just beginning our relationship, is that it's kind of much more fast track work than what I've done before with the many teams that I've worked with before. So with these gateways, what happened was just, well, you know, just one day I heard the name New Light Emissaries, and I'm like, oh, who's that? And I test and verify, you know, am I making this up or is this really a team? And they go, yeah, it's really a team. And so these gateways came through. And so very quickly at first I saw 7 gateways, and I saw them as kind of portals that the person goes through, and it shifts the person's frequency, their dimensional frequency. So you bring them into a portal. So initially I visualized it as a correction in sessions where I would be testing for somebody and they've got this or that blockage. And I would test, oh, they need to go through gateway number 4, which is blessings, love, and light. But then because I've been doing these Sunday sessions, when I was testing to see what am I doing, it said, well, take them through all these crystalline gateways. So you basically take them into a portal. These beings set up a kind of a frequency portal. The person goes in, and then they have an experience where the vibration of the portal shifts their vibration in alignment with sort of their new earth self or their next level self, if you like. And for me, the one that was the most powerful one was the gateway of dimensional expansion. And what I wrote here, it moves your center to a new dimensional frequency. And then what happened when I was preparing Sunday's session, which you guys can all do, it's just free on my YouTube, is that a new gateway came through of heart dimensional expansion, heart consciousness and dimensional expansion. Anyway, my experience was really interesting because when I did it on myself, when I downloaded the first time, and then I did a test run, as I always do, I really felt kind of a strong shift. And then when I did it on Sunday, I'd been packing all day. So I'd been in the shed, clearing out the shed all day. So when I came to do the Sunday session, I didn't really drop in the way I usually do. But the next day I felt completely different. Like I've had 7 years of living on the Pluto line. So you guys probably know that's, you get beat up. You live on the Pluto line, your land burns, the government takes your money, you know, all these existential threats. And I know that they've been for my spiritual growth, but my relationship with Portugal has been very much like, you know, people will say, oh, you live in Portugal, it's so nice. And I'm like, yeah. You know, and the next day I felt completely different. I felt at peace with Portugal. I felt loads of gratitude, and I felt like the next level of myself. It was almost like, oh, you've stepped into mastery level. Like I knew that I incarnated to be an alchemist and that I'd done many years training in past lives, but I knew that I wasn't at mastery level yet. And that was always my goal. You, in this life, get there. And the next morning after doing that, running that session, I felt like, okay, you're at mastery level now. And I was like, oh, okay, good. So, and a few people have reported some good things about the process. The process has nothing to do with me. I'm just the technician on the ground. You know, like the power of it has nothing to do with me. I just, you know, obviously it comes through, and I just have sort of the discipline to take the time to write it out. Even if it's at 4 a.m, I will wake up and type it out. But that's it. I'm just a kind of a technician, really, a dedicated technician. So that's those portals, and they have some other interesting technology. They've got some implants that are a new thing that's got me quite fascinated, where you can create a consciousness implant, and you could implant it in the body. You could implant it into land. Let's say I'm buying a piece of, I'm moving right now, and I just found out that there's a tower, and it'll be a 5G tower, and I'm like, oh, bloody hell, you know, how am I going to grow organic vegetables? And the water comes from the land as well. So I'm like, this is bad. And then suddenly it was like, oh, you just need to put an implant there. So you can customize the implant and place it in the land to shift the frequency of the land to divine frequency, and the air, obviously, and the house. And you can put an implant in yourself to protect yourself against 5G. You could put an implant for rejuvenation. You can put an implant for, I have this couple who are buying this house have been extremely bullying and adversarial. So I put an implant into the field of our relationship to just cool things out and to make it more of a win-win situation. And so I'm waiting to see how that evolves. So I guess with alchemy, you know, you get these insights and you test them out basically. And sometimes you need to fine tune and adjust and have other people test stuff out as well, just to verify. So that's kind of my process and the technology I work with. Anybody, if you have any questions, I can.
Question, if I may. Thank you. You spoke about these implants. Are they consciousness implants?
Consciousness.
Do you create them with your mind?
Yes, but me personally, I'm creating them with the assistance of this team. So I'm kind of dependent on the power of this team. Now, whether this team is just a product of my consciousness, when I test, it says no. But, you know, I guess all is one. So, you know.
What form do they take, these consciousness implants? Are they bubbles? Are they just?
They're like crystalline light and sacred geometry.
Okay. Wow, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you for answering that. So bearing in mind that we have 6 minutes left before we move on to the next segment, and I'm just checking that. Yes, that's right. And it will be you, Anna, that's next. Does anybody else have questions for Dominique?
I wouldn't mind asking, just I'm curious to see either what visual or like sensory kind of feedback you have when you're working with your team that helps you know whether you're in alignment with kind of their guidance or whatever. So do you see these geometric patterns in your inner vision, or?
Yeah, for me, it's kind of like an inner knowing. I get things in an auditory way, like I got the title New Light Emissaries. And then I'll confirm with a pendulum. I also get kind of shivers in the body, like shivers in the body, shivers in the ears, and sometimes I get a full body kind of shake. And then when I'm tuning in, I can usually like see the whole thing. But I don't see it all the time. When I first get in touch with the technology and I'm like, oh, okay, are you guys giving me some technology? And I do verify with the pendulum, and then I will see it and I will really know it and I will write it down. By the next morning, what I will have written will be like, I'll have to kind of make sense of it. It's like it'll be kind of beyond my a little bit. So I have to kind of re-educate myself on what was that again. It's like that.
And have they shared their kind of broader goal or purpose for working with you in this way? Is it like for the ascension of all of humankind, or do they have some specific focus areas for maybe geographically where you are in the Portugal region? Like I often think about geopathic kind of healing in different areas? You know, are they specifically focused on where you're located, or do they have, you know,
No.
partner teams around the world?
I sometimes check because I think that these teams will work with many of us light workers, right?
Mhm.
And a different light worker might interpret the technology in a different way. Like there's this light worker on Facebook who does these incredible drawings, and I think he's part of my family of alchemists because his his name is Felipe Abras. He's a Brazilian guy, and his drawings are incredible. So yeah, what was the other bit of your question? Oh, so yeah, they're working globally to kind of help us to evolve into new earth beings. That's the focus of this particular team.
Anybody else? We have 2 minutes before we need to. Well, I just want to say that, you know, watching you do your processes, it's amazing. I've seen how you work, and you know, I've had sessions with you in the past, and it's when you were describing yourself, it's almost like I saw a watchmaker, you know, or somebody that repairs watches. It's very interesting to see you work. Yeah, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say it's very computer geek, basically. Yeah.
So if people want to find out about your work and the services you offer, where do they go?
Well, if you go to my site, dominiquemali.com, that crystalline gateway process, the whole thing is there. It's on the videos page. It'll be at the top of the page, so you can just do it. I think it's about 28 minutes or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. And you offer this work online?
I mean, yeah, I do sessions. Actually, sessions are half price this month, and I teach and do heart listening sessions for free. Was on Facebook until Facebook started censoring the word heart. So that's been a bit of a head scratcher that I'm trying to figure out. But yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. There I am again, about the crystalline gateways. Really fascinating. I want to learn more. Okay. Well,
thanks so much. Thank you for having me. I'm going to go because I've been up since 5 in the morning. I am spent.
Have a wonderful evening.
It's lovely to see you guys. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for sharing.
Bye, Anna. Bye.
Okay, so just once again, just the running order will be Anna, Muriel, Paul, Tracey, Annette, Carl. Okay, and please feel free to speak in between. If you need to say something, write it in the chat. Please no cross talking unless you feel it's absolutely necessary, and hold everyone in love as they're speaking. Thank you. So Anna.
Yes. So some of you know me, some of you don't. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Anna Pavlakis, and for about, I don't know, 20 years, I've been doing spiritual work after a lifetime of tuning in. And I work with my own modality called integrated soul healing that was channeled into me in 2011. Alexis asked me if I would want to speak about spiritual protection. And I said, sure, because that's something that I have taught many, many times, and that I think is very, very important. And in fact, Carl and I recently together did a talk for a local, because we live in the same part of Spain. We did a talk recently for a local spiritual group about spiritual hygiene practices and the importance of having good spiritual hygiene. And I mean, I know it's something that most of us know. about. I mean, we know that you need to do energetic shielding and so on, but I think it's really important to think about the why. And because if you're any type of healer or empath or, spiritual person, the likelihood of you being very energetically open is quite high. We tend to take on energies much more easily than maybe the average person. And this goes actually to, I think what Tracey's going to be talking about, which is sovereignty, because the fact is that we must embrace the fact that our energy body is sovereign to us. It's ours. And so anything that is trying to come into it or attach to it, we have the right to say no. And I think that's something that those of us who, are spiritual, for lack of a better word, we have a hard time saying no. A lot of times we want to help everybody, so we leave ourselves very open. And because our hearts are big and we want to help the world, and we want to, we have this need to help. And so by being so open, we often leave our energy open. And so it's not about coming from a place of fear. It's really about coming from a place of power, personal power, and ownership of your energy, and ownership of your right to your own energy, and to protect it and to shield it and to say, yes, you can come in, no. So I always think of it as like, you want to have your own personal bouncer at the door of your club saying, okay, you can come in and you can't come in. And the benefits of protecting your energy and keeping it clean and clear through the practice of good spiritual hygiene are so immense. I mean, before I started doing that type of work, I lived in New York City. I had a 2.5 hour each way commute to and from work. So I was on public transportation in New York City for 5 hours a day in one of the densest, heaviest, most negative type of energy you could imagine. And I would arrive at work, I was a teacher, like enraged, just like, literally just, and it would carry through the day, and it affected me on every level. Over time, as I learned how to both clean my energy and protect my energy, it completely radically transformed me, and it made me resistant to becoming ill. I almost never get sick anymore. I can't remember the last time I've been sick. It improved my mood. It improved my relationships with people. It gave me more joy. The effects of doing this are so profound. And the thing is, I mean, it's not to come from any kind of a fear-based place. It's possible to pick up negative energies from anywhere, Last year, believe it or not, I found out that I had actually picked up an entity from a rock face at a beach. I leaned against a rock on this beautiful beach and picked up an entity. And because I wasn't walking around I was on the beach. I thought, oh, it's fine. No, so it's really, really important to know your own energy, which comes from really doing the work to know yourself and to develop the discernment about what's coming in and what's coming out, to be able to recognize if you suddenly have a mood swing, a mood shift, right? And you're not prone to them, or if you are prone to them, maybe ask why, because something attaching to you could give you a mood swing, a sudden shift in mood. Or if a sudden run of bad luck or something like that. Or if you suddenly feel a sense of despair, or a sense of sadness is just coming out of nowhere and you can't say why it is. You know, you can say, oh, it's the moon or whatever, but is it? Or is it something that's attached to you? So having a regular practice where you clear your energy every single day, when you come home from being out in the world with all these people who are, you know, walking around, they could have something that is an opportunistic energy that's just going to jump on you and attach to you. And again, it's not about fear. That's not it. It's just these energies are around us. And they are opportunistic, and if they can find, you know, something to feed off of, they will. So keeping your energy clear and protecting your energy as you go about your life, and that means 24 hours a day. I always, before I go to sleep, do protection around me. This type of thing can be extremely transformational, and I just think it's so important. But again, not coming from a fear-based perspective, but coming from power, because it's your energy. You own it. You have the right to your energy. Nothing else does. You get to have this say as to what comes in and what comes and what doesn't, right? You are the bouncer of your own energy. So it's about being in your personal power. It's about being in your personal power. So I really just wanted to talk about that a little bit and to encourage you, if you don't do this as a regular practice, to do it. And if you ever have the sense that something isn't quite right and you need to do a clearing, all right? And there are lots of different ways you could do it. I mean, I tend to do mine shamanically because that's the way I work, but there are other ways you could do it. And of course, I mean, I love working with Archangel Michael. I think he's kind of like the go-to one for all of these things, but he's not the only one you could work with. And everybody has a protection team around them, whether you know it or not. If worse comes to worse, if you don't know who to call in, just call in your team, your protection team, your spiritual protection team, and they can come in and do it. So having a regular spiritual hygiene practice and keeping your energy protected throughout the day, and knowing that you have the right to protect your energy. It is your right. And I think that that's really all I wanted to share with you guys today. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free, if there's time.
Thank you, Anna. Sorry, Paul, I'll come to you in a second. You reminded me of the Dion Fortune book, Psychic Self-Defense.
Yes. Yeah, it's a good one.
You mentioned the moon, and my question was, could you just very briefly share about what it was? Because I originally asked you if you would be interested in talking about the moon, and you said it wasn't your subject. But can you just share what you shared with me about the moon?
What I personally discovered?
Yes.
Okay, I'll share it with you. Years ago, I was working with a shaman, really amazing, powerful shaman, who was doing some soul recovery for me. And he found a soul fragment of mine that had been trapped in a military computer on the moon. And we retrieved it. And he said to me, yeah, he goes, the moon, he goes, don't go there. It's not a good place for you.
Yeah.
And it really resonated with me. And I no longer work with the moon. Even though I love the moon, I feel that my work is to connect with the sun, with the solar energies.
Just because of time, I'm going to need to stop you there. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Facebook. I'm all over Facebook. Anna Pavlakis, also Integrated Soul Healing is my Facebook page. You can also, I'll put a link in the chat.
Okay, Paul, Tracey, Syra. Paul, your question.
Less question, more comment, really. It's interesting that you have this dialogue today. The similar kind of conversation came up in my shop. And we were talking about this idea that's often pounded around, that if you're getting energetically attacked, it's because your vibration is low, or you've done something to attract it, or you've not thought positively enough. And obviously this kind of idea gets battered around a lot, and it's really nice to kind of hear Anna say, actually, it can happen to anyone, and it's not really anyone's fault. And I think that's a really important point that gets made, because too much of this, and forgive me if this stings for some people, this concept of everything that happens in your life that's bad is your own fault because you attracted it through low vibrational frequencies. It's really nice to hear someone not say that. So thank you, Anna. I really appreciate that. It's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Tracey.
I didn't really have a comment.
Oh, I thought you were-
But I do feel it was quite an interesting comment following the first segment. I think that so much work is currently conducted without any formal training in these particular realities, which they are. So we have to be built to withstand the multitude of energies on the planet. So I agree with both of you, actually.
Muriel, I'm going to come to you in a moment for you to do your segment. Syra, would you?
Yeah, just very quickly, Anna, thank you. What would you say is the best way to do a quick sort of protection thing? Because I have my own ways of doing it, but if maybe you can advise, maybe might be better.
Okay, I'll try to say this. I have this whole protection meditation that I do that takes a long time. It sets up a structure around me, okay? But what I do is once I've said this and done it, I did it many, many times in the past, now I just invoke it and it's there. It's already set up. So it's just like a reattuning to it and just realignment with it. And just say, I know that it's there and I'm acknowledging that it's around me, and that just takes a second, literally. But the initial work of constructing this very multi-layered protection thing around me, that took some time. But once that's done, it's set up. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, thank you.
That's the best one I can think of, actually.
Thank you. So there's so much to say on the back of that, but we don't have the time.
I could do a workshop on it sometime.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
Done it a lot. Thanks for listening, guys, and I'll post my link in the comments in the chat.
Thanks, Anna.
You're welcome.
Muriel.
Well, I love everything that I have heard, because I think it goes with what I'm going to be talking about, which is a law of vibration, which is a cosmic law. So very quickly before I start on what I was going to say, a while back, I'm talking many years ago, I was in a museum in California, minding my own business, looking at beautiful painting, and I did not protect myself. And literally, there was an attack, and someone came near me, and it was an energy vampire. And I was not prepared. I did not protect myself. And the next thing I know, I was completely drained, as if I was a zombie, pretty much. I could not move, and I could not talk. And I was with a lady, a friend of mine. And what happened is that she realized I was white as snow. So she came back, and she was trying to help me. And I told her, you need to, telepathically, you need to take me outside. And so she understood it. It was truly amazing. So she understood that I was telling her telepathically,
We've lost you there, Muriel. I don't know if you can hear us. Can you hear me now? You can hear me, because Amelia said that she couldn't hear me. Muriel, are you still there?
Yeah, so Alexis, I still can't hear you. I don't know why it's like that. Your
Can't hear
sound is
me.
quiet.
Can everybody else hear me? Yeah, okay. Well, I'll talk louder.
Cheers.
Hopefully we'll get Muriel back. She disconnected. But there's a message in the book of Dion Fortune about psychic protection. And I've also dealt with really dark energies in terms of like really close family members, and seen negative entities in people, you know, and it's not them. You know, I've seen it in the people that I love, and yeah, it's really important. And I'm sure many in this group can teach us a lot about psychic protection. And I think it's a topic that we need to dedicate a whole session to, because it's a really big subject, and I would really like to do that in the future. I think it's very important. It's like number one. And I hope that we get Muriel back, because she's going to talk about something that Paul is also going to talk about in some regard, a topic really close to my heart, and it's the Kabbalion. Talking about the law of vibration being the second of the 12 universal laws. And the way that I understand vibration is just on the back of what Anna was saying, is that, you know, we're all frequency, right? And we can vibrate higher or lower. And we can alter our frequency through things like singing or praying or meditation, just through love. All of the obvious things that we already know, right? Anything that feels good. And fear and hate, of course, lower our vibration. But, you know, I want to hear what the Kabbalion has to say about it. And I know that Muriel teaches on this particular topic, so hopefully she'll join us again. Can I ask anybody that has something to say on vibration to interject until Muriel comes back to us? Does anybody have anything to say on vibration, that topic?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You go ahead, Ash.
Yeah, it's a word that is extremely popular, and it's, of course, a science that requires some training and some preparation so that we can evaluate both our own frequency and then the vibration and frequency that we meet on a day-to-day basis. So my work is, of course, set in ancient Egypt, and I live there. And the temples are known as temples of millions of years. But the law of the mat is extremely important in terms of understanding vibration and frequency, and then the gateways.
How are you spelling mat?
M-A-A-T. Ma'at.
Yeah.
And in order to understand the ancient knowledge, the architecture of frequency, the architecture of our reality, then of course the feather and the heart counterbalances in life and in death. So the ancient Egyptians were dedicated to the flight of the soul, and it requires certain alchemical presences to not only expand and transmute vibration and frequency, but to fly frequency too, i.e. the flight of the soul.
May
So
I
I'm
something with you.
sure.
Thank you. Muriel has come back, by the way. She's just joining us. But as you were talking, I thought not only of the chakras as them being different vibrations, but I thought of ETs and ET craft, and how ET craft interdimensionally shift, and that they traverse the dimensions, right? And that they go in and out. Please hold that thought, Tracey, because we want to come back to that. Muriel, I would like you to continue. Sorry, we lost you.
Yeah, I apologize. My phone literally died for no reason. And then I went on my computer to try to get with you guys. And I needed to update everything else. So I think it's one of those days where technology is not at its best. So as I was saying, I was pretty much all my energy was sucked out because I was not prepared. And telepathically, my friend took me outside and I went near to the biggest tree and recharged myself. And after that, of course, that was a lesson for me to remember to protect myself when I go outside in public. So that was a very good remembrance. So today I would like to kind of talk about the law of vibration, which is, a universal cosmic law, and very important to master. And so pretty much it states that everything in the universe is a state of constant motion, and it vibrates at a unique frequency. And that include any object, any thoughts, any emotion, any belief, limited belief that we might have acquired throughout the year. And pretty much this law states that vibrations that are similar are going to attract and repel the ones that are not in sync with the universe. So Nikola Tesla describes this phenomenon very well by stating, if you want to know the secret of the universe, you need to be thinking in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And sometimes we completely forget that aspect. Now, I like to cite quote from famous people because he actually gave also a deeper meaning. And this next one is from Bob Proctor. And I had the privilege to be in his mastermind class. And so he says the law of vibration says that everything in the universe is constant, moving and vibrating, including our thought. Our thoughts are energy, and they vibrate at a certain frequency. And when we do think positive, we vibrate at a higher frequency. And if we think only negative or depressing thought, then we are vibrating in a lower frequency. And so that is very important because depending on the mood of the day, we can be attracting wonderful things or not. And some might not be because we attracting them. We were just, like I said in my description of being in a museum, I was not protecting myself of other people's energy or thoughts. And that's very important to know. Now, there have been experiments that have been made in the latest world, in the latest years, I'm sorry. And somewhere, the most recent one is with water, when we speak to the water and we say beautiful, loving thought or joyful thought, or we play Beethoven or whatever, the molecule of the water is going to change its structure. But then if we speak to the water and we say negative thought or hate or anger, then the molecule of the water itself does change. And so we need to remember that we are 75–85% water, and water does carry a memory. So sometimes we're not paying attention to the word we are using to our own self or toward other people, and we're not realizing that we might be casting spells against us or against others without really thinking. And again, those experiments have been demonstrated and into the physical world of the interaction. And you can read about those experiments with Dr. Masaru Emoto, and you can definitely take a look at all his experiment and what the water look like if we say I love you versus I hate you. So it's very, very important to be aware of our own emotion. Now, when we are in a certain vibration, this is where we can use the law of attraction to attract, but also to make sure that whatever is meant for us does not pass us by, because we need to be also in the correct vibration and into the outcome of what we're looking for. So we need to match our vibration with the outcome of what we're looking for. Now, the most important thing here is to pay attention to our limited belief and preconceived ideas that we might have. And therefore, we might have been taught a certain way, which is no longer servicing us. And once we are aware of our thought and limited belief, we can truly change our outcome, because we are more cognizant and more aware. So
Two minutes,
what can we,
2 minutes
what
left.
can- what?
I'm sorry, 2 minutes left.
Oh, okay, I'm wrapping it up. And so pretty much to raising your vibration, you just need to be aware of your thought, practice gratitude, use affirmation, meditation, etc. Get out in nature. That's it.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Okay, so in the remaining minute and a half, does anybody have any questions for Muriel?
I would just say, get out in nature, but watch out for rock faces at the beach.
Thank you for mentioning Masaru Emoto. I'm aware of his work. It's amazing stuff. And yeah, we do have such unlimited power. We're only limited by our own imagination. It's so true. Any other comments before we move on? Go ahead, Tracey.
I'm working with Hiro Emoto, and I'll be producing the World Water Festival in September. We're developing the work that Dr. Emoto pioneered, and we'll be migrating sacred waters across the planet between indigenous peoples, so that the consciousness of the planet can be held and further supported. Of course, water is the great mother and is where we originate from. So these locations where healing is much needed can be restored. I'm really interested in the journey of pain, suffering, grief that is taking place on the planet now, so that we come home to our humanity and our earth. So on a vibrational level, we have to have compassion for what
Tracey,
is taking place on the planet.
Tracey, I want to bring my beautiful friend who I've mentioned to you before, who is a mermaid, to sing. I want her to come onto this. She's usually with us, but she's become very, very busy. She's a mer fairy, and I need to invite her on to sing about the water, because you will all feel her vibration, and you will all magically shift. Yes, absolutely. She needs to come onto Sacred Segments and sing about the water, and we can all sing the waters back to life. Okay, so the rest of the segments are as follows. Paul, you're up next, and then Tracey, and then Anette, and then Carl, and then we'll have some time at the end where we can all share whatever we want to share. So that was wonderful, Muriel. Thank you so much. You raised some really important issues, and Tracey, on the back of that, you talked about amazing water work that's happening that you're doing. So isn't that interesting, the beautiful synchronicities aligning? Paul, you're going to talk about the magic of ritual and also the Kabbalion. Please share.
Yes, good. Hello, hi, thank you. For those who don't know me, I'm going to be really quick with my introduction even. Where's salad? So I'm Paul. I'm a cunning man. I own a business known as the Cunning Grove, which is an Anglo-Celtic, Nordic, and occult. Anglo-Celtic and Nordic witchcraft and occult shop. I'm a healer. I own my own healing modality known as Shining Fire, and I recently created a coven, which is a very ceremonial magic coven. Ceremonial magic is very much at the heart of what I do as a magical practice. There you go, very brief introduction. So I'm going to talk about hermetic principles, the 7 hermetic principles, from a very ritualistic magic and witchcraft perspective. For me, as a practitioner of both witchcraft and ceremonial magic, they're very much the kind of foundations of our practice. So obviously Muriel talked about the law of vibration. I'm going to kind of talk about these similar, but kind of in a very different way. So the hermetic principles are based on, and I'm going to tell you, my pronunciation of certain words are absolutely terrible. But the hermetic principles is ancient. It goes back to a Hellenistic deity who's very much a combination of Hermes and Thoth, which is Hermes. Oh, God, I can never pronounce this word.
Trismegistus.
That's the one.
Thrice magic.
I'm terrible. My pronunciation of English is terrible, let alone any other language. So there you go. Okay, so the seven hermetic principles are, the first one is the principle of mentalism, that everything is mind, the universe is mental. I'm going to take that a little step further. I'm going to talk about some, like, as in the divine mind. To really think about our concepts of deity, like people would have some concept of a god or a creator being. For me, it's more like a multifaceted diamond, and each facet of that diamond is a deity, whether it's Hellenistic, whether it's ancient Egyptian, whether it's Celtic, whether it's Nordic, whatever it is. They're all personifications of this same kind of concept of a creator. And obviously within certain circles, we might say that everything is one, and that everything is the same thing, a kind of thing that's slightly different. But certainly from a magical perspective, everything begins with thought. It begins with mind, or with air, the element of air, because that's very much the spark of creation. If you think about any kind of magical operation you ever start, you always start with thought. I want to start a business, or I really want, new love. So everything begins and ends with the mind. The second principle is the one of correspondence. So the concept of as above, so below, as within, and so without, and backwards and reverse. So as below, so above, as without, so within. But I'm going to take that one step further. From a magical perspective, everything has a correspondence. So for example, and because I'm sat right next to my candles, this looks like an innocuous object. It's a red candle. It's made from beeswax. Doesn't seem particularly magical on its own, but from a level of correspondence, actually red represents the passion. It represents fire. It represents lust. To some people, it represents love. Some people say that it's pink for love, but from a kind of a raw animalistic, passionate perspective, red is a color of love. It's a color of blood. So it's about familial bonds. In some circles, because it connects to fire, it represents the spirit. So the correspondence between this, and obviously the fact that it's made from beeswax, bees pollinate plants. So there's an element around creation, around pollination. So for me, as a magical construct, this is, I suppose you might say, a technology, for those who use that kind of language, but it is an item that I can use to connect with a certain level of energy in order to manifest something within this world. So the world is full of correspondences. We talk about the sun, we talk about the moon, we talk about astrology, and it's always our point of where we are now connecting with something outside of ourselves out there, creating a kind of a link. That link is generally starts with the mind, mental. The third one, obviously, we've just talked about, which is vibration. I'm going to go from a different perspective on this. I very much don't believe in the idea of hierarchy and vibration. I think hierarchy is something that humanity creates. There is no hierarchy in vibration. My arm is moving right now. That's a vibration. It's not good, bad, negative, or indifferent. It's just a movement. When I think about vibration from a magical perspective, I think about two specific things. I talk about energy that I might manifest within a spell, I might generate within a spell in order to help bring about a wider goal. Whatever it is, I'm trying to attract love. I'm going to draw the energy of love into my life in order to manifest that in the wider world. But another form of vibration, sound vibration. So when we speak, which again, element of air, starts with that mind aspect, so it all starts to come back to the beginning. I'm using the sound of my voice, I'm vibrating the vocal cords in my throat to speak an intention into the wind, which is then carried by the sacred winds, and then off it goes into the unmanifested realm, gets brought back, and hey, here we go, however long later, I've found love, yay, and we're all happy. So from a magical perspective, vibration is slightly different than this concept of hierarchy, but just more of a movement. And in this case, it could be sound. Another thing, in actual fact, when we think about vibration within a magical context, we might think about the literal sound we might make. So whether you're drumming or we use bells, again, connecting to the element of air, or singing bowls, again, as a way to draw energy into our magical ritual spaces in order to enable us to bring about that spell's endgame. The next one is the concept of polarity. And this is really interesting because when we think about the idea that things are dualistic, we kind of, when you look at it from a kind of a Buddhist perspective, and then we start stepping into duality, and then when we're in separation, but one cannot not acknowledge the fact that we are both separate and both one at the same time, that we are both in and we are both out, we're both up and we're both down. Like the whole concept of duality, you cannot escape it. The reason why I'm trying to do this spell or this ritual is because I can acknowledge the fact that I don't have it. But through my magical intention and through visualizing my magical goal, then I'm stepping into a place where I know that I have it. That's the whole process of magic. And whether you're using law of attraction, or whether you're using ritual magic, or whether you're using, which is high magic, or whether you're using low magic, aka witchcraft, there is still an acknowledgement that life is dual, and therefore I have what I want, and I'm trying to use this process to get it. You cannot escape it. And no matter how much we try to say that everything is one, you cannot escape the duality of our world. And to do so is to create madness within our own mind. Think about it. Trying to escape the fact that there's not a duality. Like we turn the light off, then it's not dark. We turn it on, there's light. You can't escape that. The next one, number 5, is the principle of rhythm. And this isn't rhythm like sound. It isn't like rhythm like a drum roll. It's rhythm in the fact that everything has a flow. If you look at the world around you, we talk about this idea of why people have poor mental health is because they become disconnected, or if the reason why people have addiction is because there's a lack of connection. I say it's a lack of flow. And if you think about the flow and the way the world works, spring will always follow winter. Summer will always follow spring, so forth and so on. There's a natural flow. There are only 2 creatures on this planet that do not follow the natural flow: humans and salmon. We all know what happens to salmon as it tries to swim up the river. It tries to swim against the current, and eventually lays its egg, then it dies. And humanity is kind of the same thing. But if you look at the flow, the natural cycles around us, you think about, you want to start a new project, the new moon, and you want to kind of grow something, there's the waxing moon. You want to get into like your height of your power, there's a new moon, and then obviously waning for getting rid of, dark moon for deep reflection. The same thing happens every day. Sunrise is like the new moon, and then noon is like the full moon, and then obviously the afternoon is waning because we're kind of reflecting and harvesting on what we've done for the day. Nighttime is the dark moon. Very, very quick, a little bit there. The principle of cause and effect, again, like there's this idea, we always relate these, we try to sandwich everything together. Like somewhere out there, someone's probably trying to connect the 7 hermetic principles with the 7 chakras, because that sounds like it goes together, but it doesn't, not necessarily. And cause and effect is not the same as karma. Cause and effect is simple this: I've made a cup of tea, I sip, my quench is first. My thirst is quenched. Simple. Cause and effect. That every action has some kind of consequence. If I open the door, cold comes in. It's not good, not bad. There's no karmic repercussions, and I'm not being punished for some kind of action. It is simply just doing an action will always create an effect. Again, I've drunk my tea, my thirst is now quenched. It's as simple as that. There's no judgment on that. It's not the same as karma. And the final one is, and this is the hardest one that everyone really struggles. What?
That's time. That's time, but carry on for 1 minute.
Okay, very, very quickly. Principle gender, right? So this idea at the moment that obviously, we're genderless or whatever, right? Everything is a combination of masculine and feminine. Certain things are more masculine than they are feminine in terms of elements. So air and fire are very masculine. Feminine ones are obviously water and earth. They're the softer, gentler, more receptive. Obviously, the masculine is a more active, projective. We need a combination of both within our magical operations. I project my will upon the world, and then the world reflects that will back to me. I receive it through the feminine principle. Boom, done. There you go. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul. Oh, that was a lot. Okay, I'm going to ask Tracey and then Anette something, if I may, because I wonder whether you would swap your positionings, and Anette go first and then Tracey go after Anette. Would that be okay with you? Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. It's that I said to Anette 8:15 and it's now 8:15. Thanks for that, Tracey. Go ahead, Anette.
Oh, put me on the spot. So yes.
You're used to it.
Anette. Yeah, no, exactly. I'm used to this. Haven't done this for a while, but used to it. Yeah.
Thank you,
So
Paul. I just said thanks to Paul.
Okay. So yeah, Anette Martinsen. As you probably heard earlier, I started the Mind, Body, Spirit back in 2002 with Francesca, back in Cyprus. And that is not really where I want to start. My talk is about visualization and manifestation. But to get you to the point of like why I'm there, I need to just kind of backtrack and just tell you why I do that. So I started my journey probably in the self-development and spiritual world probably 25 odd years ago. I started in Cyprus. So I went to I'm trying to remember what it was. It was some sort of gathering, a bit like the Mind, Body, Spirit, but it was something else. And I found a leaflet of this lady because I was having lots of issues. Like I had lots of trauma, abuse, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And so I picked up this leaflet, and it was just like one of those moments when it clicks into place. I went to this woman and she did something called rapid eye movement therapy. So it's EMDR, if anybody knows what that is, that's the clinical version. So we basically, because I was a basket case and not like what I am now. So I would say my vibration shifted massive. In the beginning, when I first started the therapy, I had to get rid of so much trauma, so much abuse, because I just wasn't functioning. And once I did that, I was so amazed at how amazing this therapy was that I needed to learn how to do it myself. So then on my journey of learning how to do REM therapy, in that I started to see people's past lives. I started to be able to like clear their blocks and their karma and their trauma and their abuse, and it would keep shifting back to people's past lives. So I would have like, it's almost like a video. So I would see and I would help them. So I was like the person that a lot of people would come to in Cyprus with their sexual abuse problems, because that's kind of what happened with me. And so I was attracting that back. And then I started to do another thing called theta healing, which took me then to another level. And that's where I started to learn how to do manifestation and visualization. So one of the courses was called Abundance and Manifestation. So it was like a 3-day workshop or something with a woman in Nicosia called Maggie, who some of you know, and Maggie Erotokrito, and she became my best friend, which was like amazing. And during this workshop, we were doing manifestation and visualization. And at that time, I was literally just a spiritual healer, a therapist. And I had one of those light bulb moments where I knew instantly, because I saw it like a video, that I need to do something different. So I basically left everything behind in Cyprus, husband. I took 2 kids with me, left my pets, left my house, left everything. And I just went, that's it. I just need to go. And that was the power of visualization and manifestation. It like makes me shiver, literally, like it was just a click. And I was just like, this is it. I just need to go. So when I came over to England in 2011, I started to focus more on, and I practiced this every single day. So I see that I could manifest whatever it is that I wanted. So it was like, it wasn't like I was manifesting it because I wanted it. It just came to me. So without all that stuff that I have released, so to speak, like cleared all my trauma, I never would have got to be able to visualize. That's kind of the point I'm trying to make. I think a lot of people try to manifest and visualize what they want, and then they don't understand why it doesn't work. And I've now realized that you have to clear, like Muriel was saying, you've got to like clear your belief system, you know, like your thought process. If your thought process is negative, criticizing all the time, and if you're criticizing yourself all the time, how can we then manifest what we want, our goals, if we're constantly giving our thoughts out to the universe in a negative way? If you give out negativity, negativity comes back. Your thought process is like, if you boil it all down, whatever's going on in here is literally what you're going to manifest. So if you're thinking negative and criticizing things, that's kind of what comes back, which is like, it's taken me 30 years, not 30 years to figure it out, but like I realize if I haven't got a clear mind and a positive mind, manifestation doesn't work. So yeah, basically every morning, with Amelia's on here now, I think we do a ritual every morning where we visualize and manifest our goals. And that is something that we've done for nearly a year now, because it's like I want those things in my life, but then if I'm in a negative space, then things don't happen. So yeah, that's just really what I wanted to say, that it's very important to release your negative energy before you focus on the goal that it is that you want. You know, it's almost like you're you know, banging your head against a brick wall. It's never going to work. Sometimes we get lucky and we get stuff. That's obviously what, you know, but if you ask the universe for what you want, the universe gives it to you. If you're aligned with it, and if you're giving out the same energy or vibration, like we talked about earlier. If, like, for example, I'm manifesting a certain thing at the moment, and if I'm not aligned to it, you know, it's almost like it's over there. If you're visualizing it and it's in you and you are feeling the vibration of, and that's the other thing that I've learned, when you want to manifest something, you actually have to visualize it, feel it. So it's like one of the things that I'm visualizing, I feel the emotions when I get that particular thing, and then it gets goosebumps, and then you know that you're in an alignment, if that makes sense. Sounds like I'm just waffling, but that's basically what I wanted to say. It's important for us to be a positive vessel to attract what we want. And I think, you know, if there are people that have certain blocks, then those blocks need to be moved away. So then the manifestation is like, boom, like that, amazing. And it just all just falls into place. So yeah, that's, I don't know if I've gone over time, but that's kind of what I wanted to say.
We're in time. You've still got 3.5 minutes. You Norwegians are good at waffles.
Yeah, it's like, I'm Nordic, I'm Norwegian, and I'm a white witch. I love doing
you do good waffle.
Yeah, I waffle a lot, but you know, I can talk. I mean, I used to stand up in the mind, body, spirit, and I used to talk for hours and hours. I know I've only got 10 minutes. I was like,
So I've known her for many years, and yeah, we met in Cyprus. She's an award-winning actress, I tell you.
What was the other thing? I manifested for me to come here, and with all that, I forgot all about that because I've changed careers now. I'm manifesting film roles. I've made my own films. I'm on my 3rd film now, and I'm manifesting that I win awards, and I'm winning awards, you know. And so it's like, I'm just like, wow, you know.
I have
and
a question for you. I have a question for you, please. So this is to you and Amelia. What time is your group?
We do it in the morning. It can be 8 o'clock, can be 9 o'clock, can be 9:30. We don't have a specific time because I've got to walk the dog, do my chores, and then we just meet, and then we do the manifestation. We don't have a set time.
We just kind of spontaneously do it when we do. Sorry, I'm keeping myself hidden today because I'm not feeling well. I'm in bed, so I chose to just come and listen. So if that's okay.
That's cool. Thank you for answering that. My next question is, and this has been in my thoughts for a long time. So you're helping me right now. Is it something that you would be open to other people doing with you, or is it just, you know, just the two of you?
Something I've never thought about, but yeah, why not? You know.
So
I'd have to ask Amelia, she's my partner.
Sorry, say that again.
Amelia, would you be open to other people joining?
Absolutely. I mean, if they were free and there were extra people to also do the visualization, then yeah, make it as powerful as possible.
Can I suggest something then? Can I suggest that on the Sacred Segments Facebook group, that you post a link on Zoom, and whoever wants to join at the time, you just post the link for whenever you're doing it. And whoever wants to join you in your manifestations, that we do an offshoot and create that space for the visualization.
Yeah. Because what we do healing, and we remove negative, like whatever's in the way. We clear the path before we do the visualization and goal setting and stuff, you know. And then we get
the energy of lots of people, or whoever wants to come, will multiply the intention.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So if you ladies are open to that, then please put it on the Facebook group. It's just called Sacred Segments. If you're not already on it, and then, you know, whoever's free, that's time. But whoever's free to join, then please. Thank you.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, I never thought about that. Why not? You know?
Great, great.
But one thing I will say is, because we do it so spontaneously and fitting between our routines, maybe the group one where everyone else can join could be spread to something like once a week as opposed to every day.
Oh, okay.
Or whenever,
Yeah.
or
If that works for you, that makes sense. That
Yeah,
makes
if we had more set time, that might work better, because then people are a bit more
yes.
prepared. We just go,
Okay.
"Are you ready? I'm
And then
ready.
if
I'll go."
people join, they join. If they don't, they don't. They don't. It's the onus is on them. But if you're you're sharing it, that's great. Thank you, ladies. Really appreciate it. Anetta, thank you. I want to just before we come to Tracey, just say about Paul that he does some wonderful work in many different fields, and particularly in the field of inner child healing, which he has done in the past, and the field of working with nature's medicine of you know, roots and herbs. And he made a wonderful healing balm for me, which really worked for my knee. So thank you. I just wanted to share that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
For being here. Tracey, over to you.
Thank you so much. I'm going to slow everything down. Sovereignty and creating, materializing from a place of sovereignty not only allows us to deeper heal, it allows us to deeply connect with the soul and allow the soul to sit, stand, center stage in terms of our existence. This allows us to truly participate in our own destiny and our own fate, and to truly embody the light, the unique vibration of our soul's journey here on earth. This takes us into a united sovereignty, whether we are in family or community, or standing as one humanity in many different forms, many different cultural origins, and many different thoughts and feelings. Currently, sovereignty is such a powerful initiation, particularly in terms of what we are experiencing in terms of being called to stand for humanity and world peace. Sovereignty is a state of consciousness that allows us to question each and every attachment we have, each and every illusion that distracts us or derails us from our unique vibration and unique gateway to our own sun and universe and earth. Sovereignty indeed connects us to everything and to everyone. It allows us to honor each and every experience we have with our hearts, and our eyes and our inner perception intact. So indeed we can acknowledge the lesson of our existence, the lessons of our own soul contracts. And indeed, as we progress destiny and we progress more sovereignty, we progress our understanding of our own fate and our own destiny. This takes me into the presence and the power of the goddess that reunites with us when we are more sovereign. Sovereignty unites us with the separation that we experience as conventional human beings as we progress in sovereignty. The unified field is initiated within us. And as we return to sovereignty, we return to light and we return to real magic. The magic, the miracles, the synchronicities that we crave as spiritual human beings, awake in the possibility and the dream that indeed we can create the temples of magic, the temples of ancient times, so that we can indeed be united with all of creation and all of the many forms of the gods and the goddesses, that when we are indeed in sovereignty, they honor us, they protect us, they guide us, and they present the possibilities of new timelines and the possibilities of the flight of our soul as we travel in physical form. We enter an intelligence field that is beyond extraordinary. Sovereignty reactivates our sensory perceptions so that we can hear the presence and the silence of creation and creator itself. In sovereignty, there is no need for ritual, for the very presence of magic is found in our absolute journey of sovereignty. So as you know, or some of you know, I live in the Medina Habu, which is the royal palace. I live very close to the Valley of the Kings and the Valley of the Queens. In order to be sovereign, I have returned to an ancient gateway of my previous lives. How much time do I have? I'd like to...
2.5 minutes.
Perfect. I'd like, instead of speaking about sovereignty, I'd like you to feel it. Sovereignty is not just an intellectual concept. I'm extremely interested in Thoth, but I'm extremely interested in the 7 invisible spheres of intelligence. which are embodied in the goddess Sekesh. So you will find her in the ancient temples registers. She is seen wearing a 6-pointed star with the 7th as her physical representation. We see many gateways in ancient Egypt which are connected with those 7 secret and invisible gateways that materialize when we dedicate ourselves to sovereignty. Sovereignty is, of course, the key to creating a reality revolution here on the planet. Sovereignty allows us to pray, to heal, to vision, to dream, to time travel, to connect with spirit, to embody the great mysteries of every spiritual seeker that has lived on earth. In sovereignty, we walk steadfast as beacons of light for humanity. And in sovereignty, our service is steadfast. We are gatekeepers to those who have been lost.
That's time.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have questions, if I may. I'm going to keep it as brief as possible. So, my main question is this. When the world is set up in a way to tear down our sovereignty, what is the best way to maintain it?
To remain absolute in your sovereignty, your own practice, and your own practice in the goddamn matrix.
Mm.
And as we build sovereignty, we're building a power base and a field of intelligence. And when we are sovereign, we are also connecting with our sovereign earth. And that also takes us to sacred laws which protect us in the matrix and what you've described as being key in hijacking us. Sovereignty will deny the hijack, and sovereignty will allow you to detect the hijacking. It will allow you to detect and protect the time that is wasted in the matrix and our attachments to perceived matrix laws of limitation, pain, and suffering that reinforce the wound.
That's beautiful. Thank you. I got it. Thank you.
Big, yeah.
Yeah, I got it. I'm going to hand over to Paul sorry, Carl, beg your pardon, in just a moment. But I do want to say one thing about Thoth. I think you called him Thoth. Is that how you say it?
It's Thoth.
Thoth. Okay, thank you.
But his ancient Egyptian name is Djedi.
Djedi. Okay, I've never heard. Thank you.
And so, I mean, it's very close to the Djed. So when we're dealing with the ancient Egyptian gods, we're dealing with concepts like, for example, eternity. We're dealing with universal field of intelligence and all laws contained within the universe.
Well, I understand his name to mean thought itself. Whether I'm accurate in that understanding, I don't know. But what I would like to very quickly share is this. I had a vision. I was very drunk. I'd had a lot of whiskey. And I was listening to Doreen Virtue. I was listening to a meditation that she was doing by, and I had been to the College of Psychic Studies, and I met this old lady called Narina Cristalda, and I was helping her. She was disabled. I was helping her to her car, and I kept seeing a white rose, white rose, white rose. And I said, why am I seeing a white rose? And she started laughing, and she said, I'm a member of the Order of the White Rose of Egypt. And I was like, oh, okay. And I went to her house because I wanted to help her publish her book. And she told me she was a walk-in, and she told me that she was writing a book on the Ark of the Covenant. And she showed me that on her wall, the manifestation of Thoth appeared. And I've got a picture of it. She didn't allow me to share it, but it's hidden on my Facebook. If you go through all of my thousands of pictures, it's there. But I interviewed her, and I had a vision during this meditation one night that I was doing when I had lots of whiskey, where Thoth appeared to me, and his head looked like one of the heads on Easter Island. And there were 9 other beings, 9 beings in total came, and they projected some information into my third eye. And I have never understood what it was, but over the course of years, it's like little pieces of that information is revealed to me. And it was just such an incredible experience that it goes beyond words. And I would just like to explore that at some point in the future, but I just felt it important that I share that experience with you. I don't know whether it was the whiskey or the meditation or whatever happened. It was very strange. Thank you for sharing that, and I want to explore that with you in the future, and I just felt it important to share. So I like the thought of slowing it down. Let's just take a breath, and I'm going to hand over to you, Carl. Thank you for being so patient. You have the patience of a saint.
Today is a very special day. We are joined by many, many ascended masters and angelic beings listening to the words of wisdom that have been shared today. We have heard also your intentions for your moment here in the present now and for your time going forward. And we have listened also to this one's intention to let go, to be more open. And so we are bringing today much more, shall we say, encouragement for the way forward. We wish you all to reflect on the goals you set in life. Are those goals truly in harmony with your spiritual nature, with your divine purpose? Or are they influenced by your culture, by those with whom you associate, and by others around you? We hear words of sovereignty, a very important concept. We must all acknowledge that our own path, our own journey, our own way of expressing that journey is unique and should not be influenced by the thoughts expectations, hopes, desires of others. Truly, you come here to explore a vast, deep spiritual existence from within your soul nature into the external world, into how you connect and communicate with those around you and with those you have chosen to incarnate with. This is the focus and should be the focus of your expression. Go within, my child. Seek the quiet space and listen to your own sovereign nature. Does it require solitude? Does it require action in the here and now? Does it ask for contemplation? Oftentimes, we ignore our own inner need for connection with our sovereign nature, or you might say your higher self or your spiritual nature. It will bring you much peace of mind once you begin to allow that expression to flow unhindered, undirected, uncharted. It knows your purpose, and your purpose may be very humble, or it may be very great, but in the eyes of the Creator, it is all contributing to the wonderful magnificence of creation. As you know, even the humble bumblebee brings life through its small journey from flower to flower, picking up the pollen and placing it again in another one. Such a small insect, such an insignificant activity, you may say, and yet its goal is to fly, to visit, to drink nectar. It is not aware of its greater purpose. Its sovereign nature is directing it through its aspect of being a bumblebee, and its spiritual nature is directing it through the pollination of other living creatures. And so today, we ask you to contemplate your own true nature. Have you really connected to your inner voice? Have you the time in your daily life to sit and be still, truly still, to invite your spiritual nature to communicate with you? And are you open to the message it might have for you, no matter how small and humble? Truly, we say to you, embrace the mundane. Embrace the day-to-day. For through this activity, you walk the path of God and his descendants. Through connecting with the simple aspect of your existence, the guidance will come and you will follow in footsteps you were not aware you were doing, that will lead you to that doorway, to that opportunity, to that perhaps a mountain you have to climb, but you will be led. You will be led to unfold in your glory and true nature, as was your plan, your determination. So we hear the call from many voices for guidance. we hear the call for light and upliftment. And we say, truly, it is within you. Be open, embrace all opportunities to connect within, to listen within, and to love within. Know that you are loved in all your imperfections. You are a true aspect of divine creation, and your piece in the jigsaw puzzle of the universe is maybe too difficult to grasp at this stage, but know each piece is perfect in its shape, size, location. We offer you today much love and light here from the ascended realms. All of you have powerful spiritual teams working with you. Embrace their love and receive their gifts. And we are here to work with you, to honor your dedication and to protect you. We speak from the heart, we speak truth, and we go now in love and light. Blessings to you.
And to you. Thank you. That was truly beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you, Katarina, and thank you, Carl.
I don't think that was Katarina today.
No? Okay. Do you know who that was?
I don't know his name, no. It might have been Katarina, but it didn't sound like him.
No. Yeah, the energy was different.
Yeah.
Wow. It was very beautiful energy. I could really feel it. Thank you. Thank you. I would like to close this session with a compliment to everybody and a gratitude from everybody. And I'll start. I'm just going to go around the group and give everybody a compliment. And also say a gratitude. So, you know, aside from being grateful that you're all here, I'm grateful that we are all developing and, you know, on this journey called life. The compliments, Anette, you shine, keep shining. Thank you. Tracey, your presence and wisdom is just profound. It's beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you. Anna, I was watching your energy and I could just see you were just sat in this glorious, radiant, beautiful love vibration, and I could feel it from you. Thank you. Thank you for letting me see you. Barbara, I'm so happy to know you. You just shine and you're just such a beautiful being. And I'm excited that for all the things that we have in the future to share, truly. Thank you. Carl, I have no words, just profound gratitude, and you are a constant source of wonder. Truly, you are. Thank you. Syra, you've been in my life for so many years, and you're such a stabilizing influence. Thank you for being my friend. I'm really grateful for you, and thank you for your constant love. I appreciate you. Over to you, Anette. What was your gratitude? You're muted.
There we go. I'm so grateful to be here. Grateful for you.
Still muted.
Alex.
You are. There you are.
No. Can
No,
you
I
hear me
can
now?
hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm very grateful to be here. Very grateful to you for asking me to be here. And very grateful to hear all of your words of wisdom. And what's the word? It's so amazing that a group of people can come together and just learn from each other. I just think it was wonderful. And I just had a really amazing wow when you were speaking, Carl. It was just like, oh, wow, thank you so much. I don't know if I'm supposed to compliment everybody, but
no, that's whatever you feel.
yeah, I just thought I wasn't quite sure what was happening, and then it was like, oh my God, it was just amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, Annette. Lovely to see you as always. Tracey, if you could unmute.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm grateful for diversity. Super grateful. And what was the next thing? Is that it?
A compliment.
Oh, wow. Yeah, wow.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, because each and every person unveiled something wow within the context of their journey and their sharing. Thank you all so much.
That's gorgeous. Thank you. Anna?
I'm grateful for our hearts. I felt like they were very linked today. And so I'm very grateful that everybody was very much in their heart space and coming from that. And a compliment to everyone for just showing up authentically. I think everybody just showed up in their authenticity. And I think that's beautiful.
It really is. Thank you. Barbara.
You're muted. Yes. I felt I was having a few techie problems, microphone, speaker, blah blah blah. So I had to sort of fiddle about a bit, which in my normal world, working with sound technology, would have been a total disaster. But I've just felt so embraced by you all. I felt kind of permission to fiddle about and get it right, or as right as it was choosing to be at the time. And I think that's such an incredible gift from a group, just to have that, to feel that space of allowing. And yeah, it was a lovely experience. And I thank you, Alexis, really for enabling this connection to happen. And I really look forward to meeting with everybody again. Well, next week for sure, and as often as possible after that.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thanks for being here. Oh.
See me?
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm grateful for the love, patience, and understanding of my guides. And I want to compliment just you, Alexis, but everybody for, I don't know how, each time we come together, we manage to create a magical space that you leave with a lot more in all aspects of love, understanding, and wisdom when you join. And I think it's a testament to your ability to bring people together. Thank you.
Really sweet. Thank you. Simon.
Yeah, I'm grateful. I don't want to read it actually. That's I wrote some things down. But I'm grateful for all the wisdom that I've learned this evening, and grateful for all everybody's knowledge. You know, I've learned so much, and I'm really thankful for that. And my compliment to Alexis is that he's been like a shining light in my life to sort of guide me to these spaces. Like when I used to come to your place in Putney, wasn't it? And then I've had a bit of an up down journey like with my mental health, but coming here has made me feel connected and like more heart-centered, like Anna was saying, because you don't in life, people that you meet, you can't always be that kind of open and supportive. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. But my compliment to you, Alexis, is that you've got a beautiful voice as well. Singing voice. He's got a very beautiful singing voice.
He has. I heard him. He was singing at my son's church. I was like, wow, your voice is incredible.
Thank you. Isn't it amazing?
We should get Carl and Alexis singing together sometime.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh, we have to have a singing group in the future. We all need to connect and sing the waters back to life, right? Thank you for all your beautiful statements and truths and presence and beauty and love and wisdom. Really grateful for you all, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the evening wherever you are in the world. Thank you, and just see you soon, and I look forward to the next time. Lots of love. Take care. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye bye. Thank you.